before I got to get an actual specialist was 3 years after, which I was this close to not being able to walk completely. I always tell my friends that the day I was able to put on socks by myself, I knew I could do anything, so I was unstoppable. I really wanted to do fashion design, so ended up doing interior design, and I actually loved it. I love space planning, I love the construction, everything piecing together, and then you have the full picture at the end of it. Love it. So over time, I started noticing my left leg is lacking. They told me the growth had grown back even bigger than the first one, so I had to have it removed, and it turned out to be stage 3 astrocytoma. I'm not going to treat it like anything bigger than what it is. I told myself it's like malaria. I had a really smooth radio chemo. I even gained weight through it. Whenever I look at my life, I always think the most important thing is having hope. When you have it and it's yours, you can do so many things.
Welcome to Curveballs by Gigi. Glad that you make time every Tuesday to join us. And oh my, we see your support, we see the love on the socials, and it's amazing. When we started on this journey, the question is, how many of us are brave enough to be real about their real circumstances? And I have been pleasantly surprised that many of you are like, it's about time we talked about these things, because at the end of the day, we either have to live with them, or they came and passed, made us better people, or gave us a better lens on how to handle life. And it's part and parcel of life. So hey, we might as well talk about it and give life to those who are lacking or really craving for somebody to just speak life into them, if you know what I mean. So thank you again for walking this journey with us. Talk to us on our Gmail, talk to us on our DMs. We are open to having you on set and hearing your curveball story. And speaking of which, today the lady I have on set is somebody I met, I think, in 2018. And I won't lie, the day she walked into studio, something about her and her dazzling smile made me start looking at life different. Ladies and gentlemen, she's the managing director and interior designer at Diba Limited, and she's also a health advocate, and that's how I actually met her. She'll be telling us more about that. And I'm talking about Kanana Kajuju. Karibu sana.
Thank you for having
I'm
me.
right. We met in 2018.
Was it? Yeah.
The end of 2018.
Yeah.
I remember this because I was doing the daytime show, and I had just started doing, health and wellness, and I was getting myself to understand who to talk to, what are we dealing with.
Yeah.
And this day we were talking about rheumatoid arthritis.
Yeah.
And you walked through the door with, I believe, Dr. Genga.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And I was like, wait a minute. This is different, and your story just took me away. So let me not hog you for purposes of this conversation.
Yeah.
Can you take us back to the moment where you decided interior design is it for you? What is it about it?
Actually, I was meant to study fashion design, and then my dad swayed me on when you're very artsy, it's so easy for you to fit in different spaces of anything that has art or design. So I really wanted to do fashion design, so ended up doing interior design, and I actually loved it. I love space planning, I love the construction, everything piecing together, and then you have the full picture at the end of it. Love it.
How long have you been doing it now?
Since 2019. Officially.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. So even when we were speaking, we were just starting off.
Yeah.
You were just starting
Yeah,
out.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So did you train to do this, or is this
Yeah.
something that just comes naturally to
No,
you?
I went to school
Yeah.
and did study interior design. Yeah.
All right. So tell me this. Is there a particular space or perhaps project you have worked on over the years that has stayed with you where you look back and you said, hey,
This one.
this one is for the books?
I think one particular project, I am not a very, I'm a very subtle person when it comes to colors and stuff like that. But this particular project, the client wanted colors. And as an interior designer, you cannot push your own agenda into the client for them to make the choice based on what you like. You advise them on what they like. So we sat down and she told me no, she wants bright color, bold colors, and yeah, it was very hard for me to like see it, you know. And I'm like, why are we using so many different bright colors? But it came out looking really lovely.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Tell me a day in the life of Kanana in a construction site.
Typically, when we have started our project, after the architectural drawings have been done, approved, and now we get to the site. So we have different stages, but mostly what I go to do to the site is just to make sure that the dimensions are right, the points are done correctly. If there's any change that we need to make as we proceed, because sometimes when in construction you might do something and then you realize it's actually, now that it's up, it's we need to rework it out. So we do that, and we put a lot of thought and details when we're doing that, so that at the end of the day you get to appreciate what you have. So different stages. So you show up in the morning, do a bit of this and that, material sourcing, fabrics, choosing furniture. So there's a lot when it comes to interior design, especially that when we're handling the project from the architectural drawing, the construction, and the furnishing. Yeah.
I remember this time you told me people need to understand the value of an interior design right before even you start construction.
Yes.
And the value of the same is?
It's so the value is that you get to the particular space planning details that needs to be from, like when it's done from an interior design perspective, then they get to have all the details pieced together way before you even start construction. So we're able to see if we have that wall at that particular, is the light going to be enough in a particular space, and all these details. So it's important that you involve an interior designer when you're doing space planning with your architect. Just let them work together. Or
Okay. And definitely saves you a lot of money instead of doing it then have to renovate.
Exactly. And then you realize this point is not working, we need to move. So
Interesting. Now tell me this, in the day and age where AI is the big deal, you just go to your phone and choose whatever design you want for your space, and of course do it yourself is also very popular. For somebody who would want to get into interior design, what would you suggest that they actually focus on?
I would so interior design is changing by, as you have mentioned, with AI and everything. So I would advise someone to be really there's always a part of interior design, like let's say furniture design, interior decor, space planning. Be really good at it. AI cannot, there are certain things it cannot do based on the space that you have. It might turn out well, but it might also not work out for you as a client. So you need someone to guide you. And when someone is really good at a particular thing, I always say there's always something special about someone. So there are people who are really, even as interior designers, who are really good at decor and furnishing than they are space planning and construction. There are people who are really good with designs for furniture and piecing them together, because that is still interior design. So be good at what just like find out what you really love and do it. Yeah.
So clearly, there's still space for human touch when it comes to interior design.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
All right. So let's shift some gears here and talk about now the broader side of you.
Yeah.
When we met, we were talking about rheumatoid arthritis, and this is because you were diagnosed with the same at the age of 10, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Take us back to what led to that diagnosis.
I think from what I can remember, I think when I was around 6, 7, my skin broke out. Like it was so dry, it was cracking. I looked like I had the worst. I can't even describe it. And now my folks needed to get me to a doctor. So different doctors didn't even know what was happening. And you know how it's in the village, people would be like, oh, this one, I'm a rogue or something. So now we started looking for doctors. It wasn't easy then because there were very few doctors who had specialized in rheumatoid arthritis. There were like 2 then. And before I got to get an actual specialist was 3 years after, which I was this close to not being able to walk completely.
Oh, wow. It had affected your walking.
Yeah. Basically every joint in my body. That at one point I even had like the joints that hold your eyes. At one point I had squint eyes.
What? It progressed that rapidly.
Yeah.
Okay. And I can imagine in the 3 years, if there are very few specialists and very few people know about rheumatoid arthritis, the misdiagnosis.
Exactly. They treat you for very different things that because they can specifically tell what it was. And then they knew that rheumatoid arthritis was only for the older people, not children.
It's associated with the elderly.
So it was very hard for me to get the diagnosis as a child because like they couldn't imagine that does happen to children.
So at the age of 10, did you understand the diagnosis? Did you understand the impact of what they were saying you have and you have to live with?
I think so, to some extent, because I had to learn really quickly on what I need to do and what I need to avoid, how to do things. So I was very interested to know what is happening. I mean, like, why? You know, in our whole family of 6, why am I the only one who has it? So I needed to understand. So I got into now asking doctors so many questions, just trying to understand. And it was very hard for me to accept, which delayed the me getting, ahead of it. But yes, I was really focused into just being a normal child.
Right. Yeah. At 10 years old, you're no longer moving and playing around like the rest of the kids. And then you're being told there's this new reality that you have to conform to. So that would throw you off. And if you were having a hard time accepting it, how about your parents?
I would imagine I had a time.
Oh, wow.
And it was really draining for them, physically and also financially.
Tell me this. You've gotten the diagnosis, perhaps the medication is working, now you can go back to school. What's happened to you in school? Because people can clearly see, other students can see, something is different about Kanana.
Yeah, I think just because I got it so early on in life, when I was able now to do what other children can do, I was really excited. I always tell my friends that the day I was able to put on socks by myself, I knew I could do anything.
Oh, okay.
And since that particular day, I knew I was able to do anything. So I was unstoppable. I wanted to do what they're doing. Yes, I'm different, but I don't think now kids at that particular time would treat me differently, except a few. But yeah.
Then you grow up, you're getting into puberty, you're getting into young adulthood, and here people have more opinions and can clearly see, something is off.
Yeah.
Give me some of the experiences you've dealt with, because there's also a lot of misunderstanding about the condition you live with.
Uh, People always have things to say that can be very hurtful. But I learned if you don't listen, it doesn't get to you. And the best thing is actually get to know yourself. If you do, you can't, let's say, I believe I'm pretty, and you come and say something else. I wouldn't believe you because I already know. I don't need you to, give me the negativity, which I learned over time, which before I used to be very angry at the world, at people, because of the things that you hear or what people say that can really get to you. Yeah.
What's the worst you've ever heard?
There's so many. At one point, actually, people thought I wasn't going to make it, so they were convinced that that's the end. Like, let's not even try. Keep trying. It's not going to happen. So,
In terms of what? You won't make it, like the disease will kill you?
yeah.
Okay.
So, but I appreciate that my parents didn't take it from the way what people were saying, and they kept fighting for me. Otherwise, I don't think I would be here today. And because of that, I knew it's almost like in me, I felt like I have to live to prove them wrong. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And despite the diagnosis, you still went for interior designing and all that.
Yeah.
At this point, you're making this decision. Are you wondering, will I make it, or how will I hack it in a world where perhaps there's heavy lifting needed? I need to use my limbs to do a bit more than the next person.
At that particular time, I was on remission, so I wasn't in pain. I wasn't taking medication. I was a normal young adult.
Oh.
Yeah, I did what everyone does in school. It never stopped. I never stopped to think, oh my God, like, because I never looked at myself any different. It's actually very funny that the very first time I looked at myself different is because I was stopped from doing something that I knew I could do.
Like what?
So fast forward, when I went to driving school,
Yes.
I trained with a manual car. So I was so excited. I'm like, let's see this thing that people talk about going uphill. So I was so excited to do the test. But then when we got there, that guy just saw me walking in and he's like, good rapper. Like, why? Everyone is, doing their own. So he told me, unfortunately, you cannot do the test. So I'm like, why? He's like, oh, your hands. Like, what is wrong with my hands? I have been training with a manual car. No one was doing the changing gears and clutch thing, balancing.
Yeah.
It was me. So he's like, no, you can't do it. So they had to cancel the whole exam and ask me now to do it with, to go back to a disability driving school for me now to do the test.
But it's the same steering wheel, or is it because you don't have to shift the gears, perhaps?
So for him, he was like, your fingers don't seem to, So I'm like, but I did. I didn't just, I did the driving, I did the training. So I'm able to do it. So he's like, you have to also switch to an automatic car. So yeah, so you have to go back. So that was the first time I was like, oh my God, am I different? Have people been seeing me different? And I've never looked at myself like that. It really torn me. It did. It did.
And I'm thinking you're going through all this navigating adulthood again, where you're seeing, okay, fine, there's spaces, perhaps people look a bit different. Have you ever found yourself having to over-explain, especially, for example, your hands? Because that's the first thing somebody will notice.
Yeah.
And some are polite about it. Others are just...
Yeah. Yeah, I have. Sometimes, especially when I see it's really, you really want to ask it.
Yes, like they are not even concentrating.
Exactly. So I'm like, let's just get this over with, and then so that we can move to the next thing.
So what do you tell them?
So yeah, so someone can shake your hand and they look at my hands and my fingers, and I'm like, yeah, I got sick when I was a child. So
Okay.
yeah, let's move on.
All right. And what's the reaction?
Some are like, oh, okay, as if they didn't want to know. But I feel like it's easier. It also breaks the ice, and I think when they see you're not bothered by it, the conversation becomes very easy. Yeah.
Has it limited you from doing anything? Somebody who said, just like the instructor, the driving instructor, I'm not sure if you can.
No.
Okay.
No.
That's a good place to be because your attitude sells.
Yeah, because I haven't been, even now, when so many things have changed progressively, I still haven't gotten someone to tell me I can do it, even though they can see some of the things I'm not able to do. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what are some of these things?
Well, my left leg, after certain surgeries, is not able to respond quickly. So going up the stairs in construction sites, I need someone to help me go up the stairs. Yeah, so those are some of the things that I'm not able to do.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And it doesn't stop you from getting the work done because now you surround yourself with people who understand how to support you.
Yeah. Even some clients are really nice about it, and they will be like, yeah, let me hold your hand, let's go. Right. So, but if there's a rail, I really don't need the help.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, this is where it takes even an interesting turn. Recently, you underwent a brain surgery to actually remove a tumor. Tell us more.
It was actually my second brain surgery.
Oh.
Yeah, the first one was in 2014. But when we did the surgery, they lost the sample. So we never got to do the biopsy. So we never got to know what it was. So over time, I started noticing my left leg is lacking. And it's a bit slow. So I did a couple of MRIs after, and they told me the growth had grown back, even bigger than the first one. So I had to have it removed. Yeah. And hence we started looking for hospitals to do it. A very good friend of mine had been to India. So she suggested that I try India. And we did. Had the brain surgery there.
And definitely it was successful.
It was.
Did they do the biopsy?
Yes, they did. And it turned out to be stage 3 astrocytoma.
And that is a form of cancer?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Kanana, tell me at this point when you're getting this diagnosis, what are you thinking?
I think in my head, I was like, I'm not going to give it I'm not going to treat it like anything bigger than what it is. It's just a disease. I told myself it's like malaria and people get healed. So I shouldn't take it as, oh, now we're dying. Yeah, but my mom was shook. But I'm like, this one, we're going to do it. I didn't want to do radio chemo. I was really against it. But over time, I did accept and was able to do it.
Now, this is the thing about Kanana. She worked on a site that I called her into, and you were going through that whole motion of trying to get the doctors, getting in the surgery scheduled and all that.
Yeah.
And you were still on the grind.
Yeah. I felt like if I slowed down, then I don't know. It doesn't, you stop living your life. And it almost robs you from looking at the future. So I was busy. Even when we went to India, they actually thought it's my mom who's going for surgery. Okay. They're like, what? You? Yeah. So it was very interesting. even how the surgery went. Because I remember it was so long that my mom started panicking that I'm not coming back. And after very, very many hours, she was called in and told, now you can go and see her. And when I woke up, I started worrying about the guy who was next, the other side of the curtain, because I could hear him coughing. I'm like, guy, okay, God help that guy. The nurse is like, you're in the same space, you understand?
Yeah, ask
I'm
God
like,
to help
but I am
you.
okay.
Oh wow. Oh wow.
Yeah.
I don't even know where you get this strength from, but the attitude in itself has a way of injecting life
Yeah.
into you. Tell me this, is there any moment through all the health challenges that you've had to deal with that you felt overwhelmed? I remember you saying during the chemo thing, because you even had to move in with somebody for the help through the process. Because it can get really rough.
You can. I moved in with my sister, and before the actually the radio chemo was not. I went through it so gracefully. I asked God to just give me the strength. The part before it was the hardest part, because when I came back from India, the wound took a really long time to heal. So one of the places where the staples were became septic, and there was pus in my head, and no doctor wanted to touch me. They're like, unless you agree we're doing another brain surgery. I'm like, I'm not doing another brain surgery. I'm not going to do it. So so I went to different hospitals. They're like, nope, we can't touch you. So I'm like, Aki, please just get the pus out. Like, my head is. They're like, no, unless we're going for surgery, because we don't want to risk our licenses. So I went. They did an MRI and just saw up to what point it was. And I went home. I remember I told God, just listen, like, I'm not going back to another brain surgery. So I don't know how we're going to do this, but it's going to happen. So I got into Google. I'm like, how do you get pus out of a wound? And so I gently used warm water with salt and gently just got the pus out of the wound that it was coming out from.
Yourself?
Yeah. Yeah, I did that. I know many people would be like, are you crazy? But I had to do it. I did it, and it drained, I think, for 2 days, because it had already formed like a bump on top of my head by how much pus was in there. And the scariest part is now if the pus went through the crack between the skull and got into my brain. So I saw different doctors. At one point, I went for a minor surgery to try and clean it up, but they stitched it back and the wound came back. I'm like, how hard was it for job? You know, I felt at that moment, I'm like, why? Like, I've done all these things just to die from a small, tiny wound. So I went to different doctors, but started taking, I was on antibiotics back to back, that I started worrying about my liver. And I started taking certain supplements, and after 9 months, the wound healed, but the growth in my brain grew back.
Oh.
Yeah. So the doctors were advising to do another surgery so that they can remove the little that had grown, so that when I do radio chemo, it's going to finish it completely. But I just couldn't do another brain surgery. So the oncologist that I got, who's really a really nice gentleman, he told me, okay, let's do radio chemo and see what we're going to, like, it's going to heal. So we might risk another cycle of the same thing happening. So we did radio chemo. I finished, and the growth had started going down.
Shrinking.
So it has been shrinking since.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Look
yeah.
at that. Warm water and salt.
Warm water and salt. So I think that was the hardest part for me. And during radio chemo, I knew personally I have the strength to be able to face something.
Yeah.
So I asked my sister that I'm not going to have visitors. I don't want people to come and start, looking at me like I'm dying because, cancer, So I just shielded myself. I had a really smooth radio chemo. I even gained weight through it.
Oh.
Yeah, and every time I would go to the hospital to do my radiotherapy, people couldn't believe it. Even the patient, they were always looking at me like, "Are you okay? Are we together in this this whole thing?" But yeah.
I remember recently on your birthday, you actually put up a post and said you were so grateful to see another year. You never thought you would live this long.
Yeah.
So there's a point where you were not sure.
Yeah, I wasn't sure. I actually had given myself a deadline of like, if I see 30, I will have lived.
And now we're way past 30.
Yeah, because even on my 30th birthday, I remember crying and thinking, even though it is today, I might even go out and just, die. Because I had believed there's no possible way based on what I had been told, even with doctors, the things I had gone through. I felt like it wasn't going to happen.
Yeah.
But it did.
Look at that.
It did.
Kanana, Kanana, Kanana.
Yeah.
Let me take you back to this journey you've been on with your health. There's a time you even had to quit a job.
Yeah.
Before, becoming an entrepreneur and all that, based on the experience you had living with rheumatoid arthritis.
Yeah, I remember. So, rheumatoid arthritis being an autoimmune illness, your immunity becomes very low. Is it low or too high? Something that it fights itself. It fights your body. So what happens is now you start having different different illnesses that don't seem to end because your immunity is not too high to fight them. So I used to have issue. Now when you wake up early in the morning, it's cold, your joints are so painful, you have to suck it up and show up. But then some days you get sick, and you get sick often. That now one day my boss was like, I don't think we can do this. Why can't you just get treatment permanently? I'm like, I wish I could. I wish I could. Then I wouldn't have to. Because every time even I would ask for that permission, felt like I was making an excuse.
Yeah.
So I had to really try and show up. So even me showing up wasn't enough for that particular boss. And it became an issue every now and then. So I decided, you know what, I'll quit. I'll do my things at my own pace. My dad couldn't believe it. Like, you quit a job. Like, everything is going to be fine.
And it became
fine. You have to. Well, if you believe in yourself, I think it becomes so much easier.
Speaking to other patients, they say some of the challenges are like weakness, fatigue, and all that, which now can be misunderstood as being lazy. What's the worst you've heard, especially in the workplace?
So the thing about me is I always fought those things so hard that you couldn't tell I am going through it. And even when I am in pain, you cannot tell. I will hide it so well that you won't know that I am actually in pain. My friends always laugh that when we do something and there is pain and they're like, but you have the highest pain tolerance.
Yes.
So, but yeah, there are those days you feel like you're so fatigued, you go to the washroom and you just decide you're in the washroom and you're napping, because you feel like you're just going to black out. So that some of those things are really, people can't understand them. And it's so unfortunate that people will have to pretend for everyone to be okay with it.
Isn't that so unfair?
Yeah.
I mean, you're already carrying the reality of living with a chronic illness.
Exactly.
Now you have to put on another layer of pretending
Yeah.
and wishing away your symptoms. In your space as a health advocate, what would make a difference, especially in spaces like those for people living with such conditions?
I feel like if we did create better awareness on certain illnesses, for them to stop being, wanakwanga tu hivi, or what I hear most people saying is rheumatoid arthritis. In the arthritis, they think arthritis is a symptom of rheumatoid arthritis. Rheumatoid arthritis is the bigger, which you can transition even from rheumatoid arthritis to lupus so easily. So, or gout, or so many other that are under the same scleroderma. There's one that is usually very
A very
tongue
hard term,
twister.
yes.
Yeah, so I wish people would be more, like, we would create more awareness for people to really understand, like, these things that they go through, they're not faking it. They don't want it. I had to every other time I feel like, oof, today is a hard day, I'm like, you know what, I don't have to pretend. I didn't go shopping for it. So if I don't feel like today I'm able to wake up and be out there, I'm like, I apologize, I'm not able to do it today. Yeah.
So also accepting yourself and where you are at makes a difference.
Exactly. Stop making excuses so that people can accept you. Yeah, like, just be who you are. And I believe with awareness, it would be easier.
There's a place for empathy, though. For
Yeah.
you don't have to understand it. At least try look at the person from a humane point of view, which now then gives you some more information about what their struggle is, right?
Exactly. And I feel like nowadays, based on how work has changed, if someone can work from home and deliver, then there's no problem. Let them work at the hours that they're able to cover what they were supposed to do the whole day, and they're able to deliver at the end of the day. Difference is, I don't have to wake up early in the morning with my joints aching, trying to get to the work. At that point, you're so fatigued, you're thinking, how am I going to go through the rest of the day? But also, it's important that those particular patients don't look at themselves as, I always say, I don't look at myself any different from how everyone is.
Yeah.
Because the moment you allow for that, you will become it. Yeah. So you will not be able to do the work. You will not, and you will want, there's a thin line. Yeah.
Between acceptance
Yeah.
and yielding
Exactly.
to what it does to you.
Yeah. So
Okay.
when you accept it, it actually becomes harder. It robs you so many things that you can actually appreciate about life and even how you deliver work. So I never wake up and think, because I'm not able to go up those stairs, I'm not going to show up to work. No, you have to show up. You have to do your best.
Yeah.
And even the days that you have a lot of energy, cover so much work. Days that you don't, you have very little to do, that you're able to do it at a pace that is lower.
And I think also acceptance, what
Yeah.
I'm hearing you say is in the workplace, just some flexibility for those that have to
Exactly.
live this reality
Exactly.
in different ways.
Yeah.
And when I think about your story, when I keep saying that you really inspire me, and there's something about you that just makes me think, you know what, it's a bad day, but we need to keep going. We need to keep going.
Yeah.
You mentioned that you actually lost your youngest brother to death by suicide. When did this happen?
It happened in 2019. And first I was in between angry and how could he, But mostly I was angry because when I look at people, I first see their potential. Most people that I meet, I'm like, you have so much potential. So I believe my brother had so much potential. He was young, he was strong, he was smart. So I'm like, why? But also I was angry. The funny one. I was angry because I felt that he robbed me that opportunity if I ever needed to use it. Because it's something that crosses your mind.
Oh,
Yeah.
exiting.
Yeah. Sometimes you're like, this is just too much. Like, can life get any harder? So I felt like, wow, I can do that to my parents twice. Seeing what he did, especially for my mom. I'm like, now that is off my list now. So now we have to focus on living and not have that at the back of the mind. Yeah.
And you mentioned that despite having a great attitude towards your reality, that there are times it gets hard that you want to give up.
Yeah.
How do you safeguard your own mental health? Because it's a lot.
It is. Especially after every season, it becomes even harder. It was hard when I had rheumatoid arthritis when I was young, but I got over that season, and then I had both my hips replaced, and then got over that season, and then first brain surgery, and then you're doing another one, and then you're doing this cancer treatment. You're like, okay, at what point does it end? So sometimes it can get to you. But this is what I do. I allow myself on days that I feel I don't want, I want to just chill, watch movies, distract my mind. And then I don't give myself too much time to wallow in it. Because if you keep staying in that space, it doesn't get better. So I normally I tell myself I've given myself like 2-3 days at most. Then we go back to just looking at life from a very different perspective. So it is okay to feel sad and all those things, but don't accept that's your reality. It's just a bad day. Yeah.
So did you apply the same in how you dealt with the loss of your brother? Because that is so close, and
to be honest, I think that's the hardest thing I've ever gone through emotionally. Because it was just really sad. I felt like he didn't have to do it. Like, I wish he could see himself through my eyes, the potential that he had. It would have been an easier explanation if I did it. Someone would be like, she's gone through so much. It's almost like it's acceptable, but it's not. Yeah, but then it would have been easier. But then I felt like, wow, why did he have to do it? He had all this very long life, healthy, but it's not always the same for everyone. Yeah, because even times that I would try to talk to him, he'd be like, you can't understand. You're always the strong person. So sometimes, sometimes it was very difficult to have a conversation around certain things that he feels that he's going through, because he thought I am going through worse and I am living as if it doesn't. So whatever he would tell me would seem like it's nothing. Sometimes people think that that's how I see things, but I personally believe everyone's struggle is bigger. It doesn't, mine doesn't make it, it's not bigger than what the other person is going through. Yeah.
When you think back to that season, is there something you could have done differently, perhaps? And I ask that question because a lot of families are left wondering,
what could we
Yeah,
have?
what
Because
could we
I
have
thought about it.
done?
I'm like, what could we have done? But there's no answer. Especially when you have given what they needed at that particular time. You offered opportunities. You were trying to really help and understand them. But yeah, I think when me having thought about it so many times, I think when you get to that space and you become hopeless, coming back from it is very difficult. Yeah.
And despite everything, you have been such a success in what you do. I'm a recipient of your work. You have been to sites where you were doing your work. Remember, we did Women Empower.
Yeah.
And you're a stickler to detail, to, just getting the job done and doing it well.
Yeah.
Do you think all these dark clouds in your life, perhaps the silver lining in there is that they made you so good at what you did because you needed to get it right?
Yeah, definitely. Sometimes I look back and I think they made me so resilient, and it made me be very adaptable to different people, and also knowing that whatever people say, it's not personal. Sometimes it's not even about you. So it makes work so easy to understand people from their personal spaces. And there are people who will react very differently, and you're like, okay. But yeah, so it makes my work easier, to be honest. And also me having such a team that understood how I work, also like they can go to sites without me and I would be okay, knowing that they are doing a good job, and whatever you're snagging is very little of what needed to be changed. Yeah.
So piggybacking on your birthday the other day and you saying, yay, I'm here, never thought I'd live this long.
Yeah.
When you look into the future, marriage, kids, is that something you would want for yourself if it's possible?
Where I'm at right now, marriage and companionship.
Yeah.
Kids, I'm not too sure. One thing that I always worry is, what if I pass down something to my child? I don't think I would ever forgive myself. I know I'm a Christian.
And you come from a family of 6 and you're the only one who has it.
Yeah.
Yes.
But still, I don't think that's something that I'm not too sure. And it's okay. There are other children who need a lot of love.
True.
Yeah, that you can give. So it doesn't stop you from being a parent to someone. Yeah.
You've come this far. What would you like to be remembered for?
Whenever I look at my life, I always think the most important thing is having hope. When you have it and it's yours, you can do so many things. It doesn't matter the pits that you're in. You can always come back up. So long as you still have it. That's the most important thing. And the other day, I was listening to some scientists saying how, as human beings, we're born with 2 fears: the fear of loud noise and fear of falling down. Everything else is borrowed.
Oh.
Yeah. So you can overcome if it's borrowed, you can overcome it. Yeah. So nothing is stopping you.
Love that.
Yeah.
Love that. Now, I have to ask you this because it's important, even when you think about how far you've come and what you'd like to leave behind. What would you tell the younger Kanana to seek, to hold on to, and to be wary of?
Well, especially knowing the younger Kanana. Well, growing up, I always felt like I was a burden for the longest time. And I always did things that just so that people can like me, just so that I don't just look as the sick Kanana. So I would tell her that it is okay and you're not a burden. You can ask for help when you need it, and be happy. Don't think into what people say, how they look at you. The most important thing is just keep going. Yeah.
Amazing. Kanana Kajuju, thank you for your time.
You're most welcome.
And it is always such a pleasure speaking to you.
It is
And
too.
your dazzling smile always reminds me it will get better.
Yeah,
It will get
it
better.
will.
Thank you for trusting us with your
Thank
story.
you.
And I think resilience is how you can actually define Kanana going by her story. And just a reminder that some of us might actually have outward appearances of what we live with or what we have to overcome on a daily. Some of us, it doesn't show and we still move on. But the thing that those two people have in common, everyone has a cross to carry. However, just like you heard from Kanana, how you carry it is what matters. So again, thank you for your time. We'll see you soon.